Yes, you'd best get used to that Europa League introduction. We're going to hear it a lot this season, lads. Whilst Europa League qualification matches are well underway, last week 4 teams parachuted directly into the league pot for the Europa League by virtue of losing their playoff matches in the Champions League. So who are they, and what does it all mean? Bodo Glimt are the perennial champions of Norway, and they met Royal Union Saint-Gilloise, who have been the dominant force in Belgian football in recent years. The Apaches, as they're known, are one of 4 teams in Tony Bloom's stable of clubs, the Brighton owner. They have won the Jupiler Pro League in Belgium 4 out of the last 6 years, and they sent an ominous sign this year by hammering mid-table side Westerlo 5-1 just last week. The first tie between Bodo and Saint-Gilloise saw a 3-3 scoreline, so everything was to play for in this return fixture in Norway. With the second leg also tied at 2-2, Camille van der Per was given a second yellow for this challenge and dismissed from play. Union Saint-Gilloise then had to play all of extra time with just 10 men, but late in the game they conceded this goal, which ended their Champions League hopes and plunged them into the Europa League pot.
Marca o Bodo Glimt aos 117 minutos.
And they were not best pleased about it. A melee erupted after the final whistle, and centre of the storm was Kevin McAllister. Yes, it is his brother. He had to be escorted from the field for his own good. He is a defender, he is USG's star player, and quite the brute. Plays with a gum shield, for goodness sake. I think that tells you all you need to know about his style. It was a disgraceful post-match performance from Union Saint-Gilloise, with coaches and staff also surrounding the referee, who issued another red card in the ensuing post-match melee. In any case, the Belgian champions and Noah Siddiqui's former teammates now drop into the Europa League group stage, but watching them, they shouldn't pose a problem for us, other than their discipline. Olympiacos is another team under multi-club ownership in the Premier League. Nottingham Forest owner Evangelos Marinakis owns Olympiacos, along with Rio Ave in Portugal. Olympiacos were second in the Greek Super League last season, losing out to AEK Athens, and tonight they were up against NEC Nijmegen, who finished third in the Dutch Eredivisie last year, their highest finish in history. And Nijmegen are probably one of the most interesting teams in this competition because of the way they play. It is a hyper-aggressive 3-5-2 style, and when it clicks, it's very, very good. NEC also had Clement Bischkov on the left wing, the Under-21 European Championship breakout star from last summer. And he's someone were linked with signing last summer, but now he's at Nijmegen. Olympiacos chose to defend heavily against this NEC aggressive attack, and a dull first leg in Greece ran out goalless. But in this return fixture, Olympiacos actually took the lead just after half-time, but they looked terrified of it. They also had a man sent off with just 15 minutes left to play. It was initially given as a yellow here, but was upgraded to a red after a VAR intervention. Seemed a bit harsh to me. Nonetheless, this provided the impetus Nijmegen needed, and they quickly equalised, going on to win in extra time, meaning that Olympiacos will also drop into the Europa League draw with us. But in truth, they looked a pretty poor side, and again, should not be something that we worry about. Sturm Graz actually won the regular season Austrian Bundesliga last year, but then the top floor play a mini competition for Champions League places, and they came second in that. This tie was effectively over as a powerful Fenerbahce side came with a 2-0 lead into the second leg. And as expected, they totally dominated this tie as well. Fenerbahce, with a midfield of Marco Asensio, Guendouzi and Kante, are a very good team. Despite a host of chances, Fenerbahce only managed 1 goal, but that was more than enough to put out a woeful Sturm Graz into the Europa League draw with us. We should fear nothing from these winners. The last team plunged into the Europa League draw were also pretty woeful to watch. It was Sparta Prague, who were second in the Czech top flight last season, and they were up against a very talented Lyon side, featuring a certain Luis Openda up front for them, another player we were linked with last summer.
É isso que ele faz, o passe agora para Openda. Ainda o Openda vai no esforço, deixa para Fofana.
Ofaná novamente para Tolisso, passe de primeira, bem trabalhado, é grande lance, Tolisso, está
feito.
Sparta, though, were no match for the talents of Lyon and were easily brushed aside 3-0, and they were not helped in their cause by yet another red card after little over half an hour. Lyon easily dominated the game both before and after the sending off, and Sparta Prague now drop into the Europa League with us. All in all, I saw nothing in the 4 teams that dropped down for the Champions League to worry me in terms of competition. But things are not fully decided yet. The winning teams of these fixtures will have to play each other next week. Bodo Glimt will play NEC Nijmegen, and Fenerbahce will play Lyon. And the losers of each of those ties will join us in the draw on the 28th, and frankly, the loser of that second tie will be a dangerous opponent. Let's see what happens, and I'll see you next time.